Sheriff Clarke coming up here momentarily on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. Sheriff David Clarke, America's Sheriff. Sheriff Clarke, great to have you.
John, it's a pleasure. Good morning to your listeners.
I tell you what, we're having some crazy things happening out there. Now we've got a few Democrats in Congress that are urging Pelosi to break the logjam as she's not moving. We've also got the president grounding her. Now the president's saying he wants to go ahead and make the State of the Union address. She's not really rescinded it, so he's going forward with it. And we've also got another 15,000 strong migrant caravan coming up from Guatemala, all today, just Sheriff Clarke, for you to comment on.
Wow, there's a lot there. Let's kind of sort this out. First of all, on the State of the Union, yeah, I think the president should go ahead and force her hand, make her say no, because if I recall in that letter she sent, she suggested that he hold off. He should force her hand so that he can then do what he thinks is necessary in terms of fulfilling his constitutional duty to deliver a State of the Union. Now, it doesn't have to be in person by the Constitution, but he's still required to do it under Article 2. I think it's Section 3, but it says from time to time the Congress, the President shall inform the Congress of the State of the Union. So there's a lot of open areas there as it relates to some of the other things that you talked about. You know, this is part of the problem that people have with Washington, D.C. You know, everything moves at a snail's pace. Now, you mentioned this caravan coming up, the drama that will accompany that as it gets closer to the United States border. But this will not stop until we have more border security. We have some sort of wall, barrier, whatever they want to call it. It's going to be necessary to control this in these invasions of people into the country and some of the things that they drag along with it. And we all know that many of these individuals, I said many, are ne'er-do-wells. They come in here, they're going to need public services, they're going to need health care, they latch onto the schools, and you got to have bilingual programs which increase the budgets of these already tight budgets, at the state level. But again, this is one of the things that people have had enough with, that nothing gets done in Washington, D.C. The only way that you can get something done is to force the issue. So the Democrats that you mentioned, a few Democrats are rumbling. Yeah, they're getting a little nervous, and that's good. But the thing is, Nancy Pelosi has painted herself into a box. She probably made a promise to secure enough votes to be, in her caucus to become the Speaker of the House. She probably made a vow that she would resist the president, probably specifically on this issue of the wall and of illegal immigration. So she did that to herself. But, the other members of her caucus, they want to get something done. They want to get moving. They have people to answer to back home. Pelosi, if you're, for instance, a congressman from, let's say, Iowa and Nebraska, Nancy Pelosi's not accountable to them, but you are if you're the congressman from that area. And so, you go back home and the people are screaming at you, hey, what's going on? Let's get something going. Let's get this government open back. And what are they supposed to say? Well, Nancy said no.
There's a dual accountability here, right? But the real accountability is to your constituents back home. Many of them can't understand why we can't get the impasse done. But you're right. I mean, there's a pledge to Pelosi and towing the line. I mean, there's a Democratic congresswoman just got elected here in basically a swing district in a military area in Southeast Virginia. Elaine Loria beat Scott Taylor. And Loria just leaked, there was a memo that Politico leaked that she sent to Pelosi, basically saying that she wanted to compromise. Then there's a congressman in Minnesota, Peterson, who said just give him the $5 billion to build whatever he wants and open the government, and it's just not that much money. So there's some minor cracks here, Sheriff. Whether or not this is going to amount to a hill of beans, I don't know. Now, today in the Senate, Schumer and McConnell, both leaders, agreed to have dueling votes on both the president's compromise on Saturday with DACA and Schumer's legislation, which is no money for the wall, open the government. But neither of these is going to get anywhere near 60 votes. So it's an effort in futility, right?
Yeah, precisely. Look, in Washington, D.C., as you know, many of your listeners know, everything is centered around theater, okay? This could be nothing more than mistaking activity for accomplishment, okay? You got a lot of kabuki theater here.
Right.
You know, the lights are flashing, and it looks like there's some activity, but really nothing's being done. So, I don't know. I like to wait when it comes to Washington, D.C., and the people involved in that bubble there. You know, I've heard about these two proposals that are being passed through or passed around. Neither will get the 60 votes, I don't think. But at the same time, you know, there's talk that, okay, if neither proposal gets 60 votes, maybe they'll compromise between the two bills. But I don't see Chuck Schumer putting Nancy Pelosi in a bind by agreeing to some sort of border wall funding. The Democrats have a history, and it's their nature to stay together, keep everybody on the plantation, so to speak, and you know, speak with a united voice. So if he puts her in that sort of position, that will indicate cracks within the Democrats in Washington, D.C., which would be a good thing. And that's why I think the longer that the president holds out, the likelihood is that the Democrats realize they're going to have to come to the table. Look, we know when you don't have all the power, and that still rubs me the wrong way, John, in that for 2 years the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And the GOP, not the president kept trying to push the issue. He laid it out in his last State of the Union address, what he wanted to accomplish and what he wanted to support from in Congress. And the GOP in the House and Senate sat on this thing and did nothing. We're at this point not because of the Democrats. You know, people recall we're at this point because of the failure of the Republicans in the House and the Senate, Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, to push these things while they had the power and to get them done. So now they don't have the power. And when you don't have the power, you have to compromise. The president has put forth a compromise, and he just keeps being told no, no, no.
Well, the feckless, donor-based Republican open border weasels that control the House couldn't get anything done. Look, this is why President Trump, then candidate Trump, eviscerated 16 of these candidates in 2016 because they were all Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio versions of do-nothing light. And so the Republicans, rank and file voters wanted something else. They wanted action. That's why they elected Trump. That's why he was a nominee. And so 2 years, Republicans in control, both houses, couldn't get the number one promise he had coming down the escalator is, I'm going to reform immigration, secure the borders, and build a wall. The number one thing he had, they couldn't even get that done. And all Paul Ryan did was say, well, next time, next week, next month, sign this omnibus, next time. And there was never next time because he never really wanted to do it, and neither did his leadership. So it is frustrating, Sheriff. We're with Sheriff David Clarke. He's America's Sheriff. You can get more information. Go to americasheriff.com. He's also a senior advisor for America First Policies. You can go to americafirstpolicies.org. Sheriff, this Covington Catholic High School fiasco that went on, it's beyond a rush to judgment. It was a rush to impugn, indict, and lynch, basically, these young men who now we find out did nothing wrong, which stand there. They were provoked by another group, what they called Black Israelites or something, racial slurs and horrible things screamed at them. And apparently the Native American, Mr. Phillips, came over, tried to defuse the situation. And these people raked over the coals and trying to destroy kids' lives. Now their families in Covington fearing for their safety. I mean, my God, Sheriff, what the hell is going on?
Shameful. It's a new low in American journalism, I believe. It's a new low in terms of society as well with the use of social media. The cops have been dealing with this for a very long time. This is nothing new to police officers. And, I spent 40 years in law enforcement. Cell phone camera video can destroy a cop's career. It's taken out of context. You don't get the whole video. It doesn't include evidence. It doesn't include witness interviews, witness statements, who may have seen something. That's the same sort of approach that the media should be using in this situation. Go try to find some people to interview who were there. See if there's other additional video, camera cell video footage. But no, this was a rush to be first. They wanted to be the first. CNN, the New York Times wanted to be the first to get it out. I always approach these things as a former cop myself, having to had investigated some very serious cases. I don't care what it sounds like. You must get it right. And the media has an obligation to wait and get it right. But in this day and age in the media, it's more important to them. It's a higher priority to be first than to be accurate. So you take these kids, and all the ingredients were there. And that's why the liberal media, and some conservative media outlets got in on this too. I'm going to be fair because I usually am on this stuff. I always am, I should say. But the ingredients were there, and they were salivating. You had white males, young white males. You had Catholics. They were there for the Right to Life March. The abortion issue. You had religion. Like I said, these individuals were from a Catholic school. You had a Native American involved. You had a Native American claiming to be a former a veteran, or that he's a veteran of the Vietnam War, and that's come under question. So you had all these ingredients there, and then you had the Make America Great hat. So you had an opportunity. When I say you, I'm talking about the media. They had an opportunity to drag Trump into this thing, somehow. And, like they did with the Charlottesville situation, drag the president in, blame it on him. So they, in knee-jerk fashion, ran with this thing and ended up with egg on their face. But how do you put this toothpaste back in the tube, John, for these kids, Covington High School, who were the recipients then of hate, of death threats, so on and so forth? They had to close the school yesterday because of security issues. That's why I said it's shameful, and we've reached a new low. The problem with this is this isn't the first time this has happened. You can go all the way back to Trayvon Martin. Same thing. Rushing before the facts came out and letting the investigation take place so we could learn what really happened. Right away they said a white male killed this young black kid. Well, it happens to be Hispanic. And then you look at the Mike Brown situation in Ferguson, Missouri, same thing. Hands up, don't shoot. Instead of waiting to find out what happened. But sadly, John, you know what? This will happen again.
It's beyond the pale. And you're right. If all the ingredients were there, white males, red hats, Make America Great Again hats, Catholics, Right to Life March. I mean, all the ingredients were there to vilify these young fellows that, happened to be Catholic and went to the Lincoln Memorial for the Right to Life and were basically standing there minding their own business, waiting for the bus to come. I mean, not looking for any trouble, didn't want to get involved, just wanted to go home. And, they had their day there. They walked around Washington, did the march. They believe in the right to life, and they're Catholic. And so all this abuse coming, it's just, there was one reporter, and I can say this on the air if I say it the right way. There was one reporter who actually tweeted out and offered oral sex if somebody would punch the kid in the face. I mean, this is how sick this society has become. In my lifetime in the news business, one way or the other, for a very long time, to actually have somebody tweet that out, who is a supposedly legitimate, opinion maker, commentator with a, major network, and not get fired. Like, within minutes, this person should have gotten fired. No, it's like, it's incredible to me. What is going on?
John, that's why I use the word shameful, and that we've reached a new low. You're talking about Sarah Beatty, some sort of writer from Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
But this is where we're at, okay? And for people on our side, I'm talking about the conservative side, if we think it's going to get better, if we think that there's an opportunity or that there's hope that, we can work with the other side, whatever, forget about it. We can't. This is a culture war that's still going on in this country. It's a fight for the soul of this country. This fight is going to have to be had, and that's why. And I've authored or penned a column for townhall.com, and it's entitled "Wanted: A New Conservative Fighter." We got to be willing to fight, and push back against this stuff, and until we do, this is the sort of stuff that's going to continue to happen. What that writer from Saturday Night Live tweeted out. You talking about disgusting, okay? But this is the new left. This is who Nancy Pelosi's dealing with. This is from the group that this new group of Democrats led by Ocasio-Cortez or whatever her name is. This is who they are. This is the face of them. Get used to it.
It's inconceivable to me that network, a major network like that, or this NBC, right, wouldn't have fired that person like within 15 minutes. But they don't care because I guess
the Trump haters.
They just don't care. Unbelievable, Sheriff. Just incredible. All right, let's get one final thing. Got 2 minutes. Let's get to BuzzFeed. It's been a tough week for the fake newsers. BuzzFeed comes out with a complete lie on Friday. Everybody jumps on it saying, okay, this is it. We got him. The president's going to be impeached. Then the Mueller investigation of Peter Carr, their spokesperson for the special counsel, has to put out a statement denying the BuzzFeed report that the president obstructed justice by telling Michael Cohen a lie. By the way, as soon as I saw it, I said to myself, boy, this doesn't make any sense. Why would the president tell Cohen a lie about something that doesn't matter? I mean, whether or not he was negotiating a tower up until November 7th, 2016 is irrelevant. He was a private citizen running a business, do whatever he wants. And by the way, everybody told him he was going to lose. So, yeah, he was still running his business. So why would you lie about something that doesn't even matter? And now it's proven to be false, and all the media jumped all over it. Incredible, right?
Well, yeah, and this has become part of the cycle, too, with this whole Mueller investigation. When there's nothing going on for the media, they drag up a new thing. That's how the Stormy Daniels, the smut queen, came in. And you had Michael Cohen, and you had Manafort. You had all this stuff that had nothing to do with trying to get to the bottom of Trump and Russia collusion, which did not happen, by the way. BuzzFeed, just ragtag group of people who just slap stuff together. First of all, let this be a lesson to our side. Do not believe any story that says unnamed sources told us. I don't trust the media anymore. They cannot use that and have me believe any aspect of it. When they say unnamed sources, they're dishonest. They lie. The New York Times has done it as well. So when you see those words, I stop reading. As soon as I see unnamed sources told us, I stop reading. I don't even want to know anymore after that.
Unbelievable. Sheriff, we're out of time. I want to thank Sheriff David Clarke for being with us. Always good to get his input. More information, go to americasheriff.com. That's americasheriff.com. Sheriff Clarke, Senior Advisor, America First Policies. Sheriff Clarke, thanks for being with us, sir.